substantial month. It's been just bananas here over at Bobbin with Brittany. So hello, I'm Brittany Fisher, and this month I was going to work through as many works in progress as possible, which was successful. But I've got some special things that came out that I want to talk about first. So I am a first-time published quilt designer, and my design was picked up by Annie's Publications. They do Quilters World, and this was the first one that came out. It's called Lighthouse Windows. It was different from the name that I picked because they picked a theme that was a little different, but here is that. So it was a 2-block pattern, and like I absolutely hyperventilated when they told me it's on the cover. It was such a rush. And then another quilt magazine came out. So this was in Quilt Maker for the September-October issue, and it is called Composition. So it was inspired by the composition notebook, and then I've got these little locker blocks. So this is, the 2-block quilt was Maywood Studio Fabrics in there. I'll put an image here. And then I've got QT Fabrics. So it's the letter Q, letter T, there's speckled line. Made this notebook kind of look. It was just so perfect. Tracy Mooney she's the editor for the magazine, hunted down that fabric, and it was just perfect. And then there was a third one. But this is called Homecoming Mashup. It's designed for love of quilting. So I designed this to be a 2 or 3 color quilt that you can pair up your school colors with, or your favorite team colors. There's just not a lot of graduation, like school spirit themed quilts out there. So I came up with that one, and this was Island Boutique Foundations, and I think I totally recommend them for school colors because those foundations are popping. So that was the publications. All right, so let's get into the projects that I finished. I wanted to cross off just as many nagging things as possible. And the first one was Boardwalk. And you've seen this, but I didn't show the back of it in my last video. And so this is beautiful and it's so bold, but on my bed, it's a little just overstimulating. You know, it's the end of the day. It's the end of the day, and I just want to wind down. So I've actually been using the back of the quilt this past week. So it's a piece backing. It's a little bit Halloween inspired with their spider fabrics and these like little spookies. So now I really recommend these piece backings to just give yourself another option on the quilt. It's this nice purple. I've been finding a lot more comfort in doing that. So I finished Boardwalk. That's an open gate quilts pattern. I went bonkers on my machine embroidery, and I made this table runner called Nautical. And then Designs by Juju, where I bought the design files from, they ended up using this in their marketing. So you can see this in some of their ads coming out this month and through the summer. I have been held up on this scrappy project called Happy Together. It was a mystery quilt along, and I didn't pick ideal fabric. I mean, this is pure scraps. I just picked whatever I could find, and I did the blocks along with the quilt along. And then I couldn't find a piece of fabric for the back. I had pieced one together and it was just short. So when I was moving stuff around, I found these little maps, and it was just big enough so that I finally did some free motion quilting practice, and I got that one done. So that is like just a nice big table topper size. I'm supposed to have another border, but I'm done with it. And then I finally finished the tuxedo quilt, or tuxedo table runner. I had some time yesterday. You can see it better on the back. But it just got a ton of texture and like all these little clamshells in the triangle. How sweet is this? So I just, even though I was like in a big hurry to get a bunch of stuff done, I still paused to be extra about quilting. And then I opened my Etsy shop, and it's just a way to make a little extra money to fund some projects that I want to do. And it's like everything is pretty much just cost and shipping. It's not priced for my time. So I had a little bonus lighthouse, and the bobbin thread pulled up on the seashell, so now it looks broken, but I think that's a cool element. So I listed this, I redid this block for the actual table runner, and I have that listed. And then I just made a bunch of mug rugs. This one has a little pocket, so you can put your tea or your spoon or a little cookie. So I've got a couple of those, my Rudolph one. And then I made these bee coasters. These are also from Designs by Juju. I got a cross stitch back from the framer, and I consider cross stitch done when it's framed. And so I got that one done. That was from Fat Quarter Shop. It came in a kit. And then this one I framed myself. It's not, the whole pattern's not done, but it's done to me. And it was a $3.99 frame. So I just did that. Just so it's up and done. I can put some additional ribbons around it. I don't know. But that's done. Now let's talk about what's in progress for next month. I'm working on my Island Batik Ambassador Challenge, which is it's a free month. I can sew whatever I want. So I'm sewing a pattern called Moroccan Tiles by Open Gate Quilts. And I have 4 of these blocks left. And each one is so stunning. This is the Prairie Dreams line from Island Batik. So I'll have that up in its video for next month. For machine embroidery, I'm working through the Witchy Wears quilt along with Sweet Pea embroidery. And I have been doing these little blocks for that challenge and having so much fun in the Facebook group, seeing everyone's interpretation and designs. And while at the same time I'm doing that, because they come out once a week, they release a new block, but last year they had a haunted house and I loved it. So I went ahead and purchased that, and now I'm just doing that a week at a time. So I've got little videos of these up in the shorts. It's like an octopus in the tub. And then this little kitty in front of the door. So I'm working on those. I have my embroidery machine set up in the background since it's nice and working again. I just keep that going. And then for cross stitch, I started the Evergreen Stitch Along. And they released part 3. I'm just wrapping up part 2, so I'm a little behind. But I think I'll get that done next month. All right, so lastly for next month, I've canceled some of my subscriptions. I still have the Open Gate, and I need to catch up in the past 2 months of her projects. I've just been a little busy. And then I signed up for 2 more subscriptions, and they're Fat Quarter subscriptions. I have the Reproduction Fat Quarter line from Fat Quarter Shop. And then I also ordered Stash In with Stephanie from Quilters Addicts Anonymous. And I'm gonna get those 2 boxes, compare the fat quarters, and then I'm gonna work through a quilting book. So I've reached out to some designers to get permission to show what I'm doing for the construction without sharing their measurements. But once I get that approved, I'll go ahead and move forward, and then I'll just pick a box and it'll get made into that quilt. So I think it's gonna be a really cool challenge and fun series, and give me some good stuff for my YouTube, because this past month I hit the first monetizations here. That means I can have like memberships and super fans, but I'm not anticipating anything. It's just a milestone that I hit, and I really appreciate it, and it was very motivating to come up with some fun ideas and focus on it, because I'm mainly an Instagrammer, and Instagram does really well for me, but I just really have always loved YouTube and wanted to be successful at it. I'm working on it, and I know there's a lot of improvements that need to be made, but I'm learning as I go. And then the last announcement that's going to be happening for next month. This is such a big video. So I took a long arm class, and it was, you have to do the class to do the rental at this quilt shop. So I did the sample, I did the class, and it just reignited this dream I have to own this long arm. I have the Handy Quilter Capri, and I really wish that I bought the Amara ST. It's the next level up, and it's just such a smooth machine. So I looked into trading that in because you could always put that on a frame later, and the money was just not gonna work out. So I called around and I was looking for a long arm sponsor, and that was crickets. No one's giving me any kind of deal except for Handy Quilter. Like, I'm already promoting them, and I wasn't just shopping a machine, I was shopping a company and the type of customer service that they have and support that they have for their clients, and on top of just pristine machinery. And my dream is to own the Infinity 26-inch machine on a frame, and they had the Moxie available. It's a 15-inch machine. It's kind of introductory level, but it came with a loft frame. So I was able to afford that. So right now I'm just getting the machine, not the robotics, and I'm just gonna, as my Etsy sales start to pick up, I've made a couple orders, and that helped a lot with being able to afford everything that I'm doing right now. So I started with just the machine and the frame at an awesome discount. So it's a demonstration model. So if you've seen some Moxie videos on the Handy Quilter YouTube, that's probably my machine. And I'll go ahead and share my strategy on this long arm dream. I mean, I don't really have the room. I made the room in the basement. I sold the cutie frame. I'm selling a freezer that was cutting into space. And now we're trying to save up for have a little addition or finish off an area of a house. And then I could really start to build up and see that vision. But this was just the next step for me and what works with my space and my budget. So it's just a machine and frame, and then I'll save up for the ruler base, the pantograph laser setup, and then there's a kit to have a flat surface on the frame. So those are my next 3 financial goals on my long arm quilting dream. So, okay, well, thank you so much for making it this far and joining me on this journey and watching these videos. I hope you've had a fabulous month, and I really look forward to cooler months ahead and the holidays. I know that my Instagram is sharing a lot of Halloween and Christmas. I'm getting a little itchy for these holidays. So, all right, you have a great month, and I will see you very soon in the next video.